Do we reincarnate into Earth School? Reincarnation is misunderstood. It doesn't mean some individual keeps coming back to Earth School to learn lessons. This video explains why we know that is true. As with all the videos, articles, and blogs in Seek Reality Online, the statements are based on communication we have received from verified sources in the afterlife, and the statements are corroborated by more than one speaker. We are told repeatedly by sources in the next stage of life that we as individuals retain our individuality when we graduate from Earth School. All of our experiences are part of the higher self's evolution, and we continue to grow in wisdom, love, and compassion for others after graduation. Other individuals, part of the higher self, attune to the Earth School instead. The higher self and we learn from the experiences of these other people. We will then be able to re-experience what they have experienced as part of our learning. However, in our pre-birth planning, another life in the higher self may be the basis of the life we had planned. We may want to learn something not fully learned in that previous life, or counter some actions in that other life during our life, or in some other way want our life to augment or continue something of that other life. We come into Earth School as our unique self, and that individual continues to live in the life after this life as his or her unique self. But the lives are intertwined because of the desire among us in the higher self to have experience based on that other life. The clearest explanation of the concept of reincarnation is in Mike Timm's The Afterlife Revealed: What Happens After We Die, Appendix B. Mike cites the afterlife researcher Frederick Myers, speaking from the life after this life through medium Geraldine Cummins. Myers explains about the individuals in the group soul. When I was on Earth, I belonged to a group soul, but its branches and the spirit, which might be compared to the roots, were in the invisible. Myers, one of the pioneers of psychical research before his death in 1901, communicated. Now, if you would understand psychic evolution, this group soul must be studied and understood. For instance, it explains many of the difficulties that people will assure you can be removed only by the doctrine of reincarnation. You may think my statement frivolous, but the fact that we do appear on earth to be paying for the sins of another life is, in a certain sense, true. It is our life, and yet not our life. In other words, a soul belonging to the group of which I am a part lived that previous life, which built up for me the framework of my earthly life, lived it before I passed through the gates of birth. Myers further explained that the group soul might contain 20 souls, 100, or 1,000. The number varies, he said. It is different for each man. But what the Buddhists would call the karma I had brought with me from a previous life is very frequently not that of my life, but of the life of a soul that preceded me by many years on earth and left me the pattern which made my life. I too wove a pattern for another of my group during my earthly career. Myers added that the Buddhist idea of rebirth, of man's continual return to earth, is but a half-truth, and often half the truth is more inaccurate than an entire misstatement. I shall not live again on earth, but a new soul, one who will join our group, will shortly enter into the pattern or karma I have woven for him on earth. This affiliation between an individual and other individuals in the group soul, or higher self, is where past life accounts come from. Someone in this life is re-experiencing another life that is affiliated with the person. Aspects of that other person are part of the individual currently in Earth School. Myers explains this as a pattern a person has that is influenced by another individual's life. This pattern is described by a woman named Doris in Rob Schwartz's Your Soul's Plan as being a plan for a person's life, constructed from parts of other lives, like a collage. This is her response about the individuals in the Oversoul. Rob begins with a question. You've used the word we several times, I said. Who is we? We are an Oversoul. We encompass all personalities. The personalities do not die. They are a part of the great chorus. We leaf through them together with our guides as we plan a life, as a painting in 3 dimensions, a collage. Doris's oversoul later refers to Doris as a soul fragment, meaning that this Earth School individual is part of the larger oversoul. During pre-birth planning, the planning group leafed through the various individuals who are a part of the oversoul or higher self to decide whether to learn new lessons based on the previous learning, or bring previous learning into the new Earth School experience. That is how an individual who has a past life regression experiences a link with other individuals who have lived in Earth School. Doris's oversoul then explains what happens after the individual graduates from Earth School. Rob begins with a question. What happens after Doris's life is over? I asked. Is it correct to say that her energy will be reunited with you, and yet, at the same time, she will retain her individuality? Based upon other conversations with Spirit, this was my understanding. Yes. Certain aspects of the personality do dissolve upon transition, but the closer one comes while in the body to one's true soul, the more easily the personality is retrained. Then is it ever correct to say that one person was another person in a previous life? There are fragments of the soul which moved from one personality to another. For instance, in Doris's body, there is a substantial fragment of that soul spark, which was placed in the body of a male German soldier 90 years ago. That soul spark is the affiliation of another soul with the person now in Earth School that is experienced as a past life. Rob then asks about whether more than one individual from the Oversoul can be living at Earth School or in any of the other millions of realms at the same time. Rob begins with a question. How many physical incarnations do you have at this time? On this plane, there are 2. This revelation made me wonder how many lives her soul was living on non-physical dimensions. How many are on other planes, I asked. An infinite number. They are born and die, grow and fade, as nexus points are reached. How much of your time, if I may use the word, is devoted to overseeing the 2 personalities on Earth and guiding them? There is always contact. The thread is always there with love and compassion, but the personality is there to better its own information and bring it back. Medium Craig Hamilton Parker had the same response when he asked his guide Taratha about what he calls the overself, that I have been referring to as the higher self or oversoul. This is his account. My own spirit guide Taratha has spoken about the primal form, which we attain once we have become fully integrated into the afterlife. As far as I understand, this is what others have called the overself, the highest aspect of our consciousness. Taratha has also told my circle that only a fraction of our self incarnates on the earth at any one time. We are like a many-faceted diamond, on which only one surface is in this world at any one time. The primal self is the core personality that has lived many times before, and who is fully aware of the purpose of its existence in past lives, this life, and the lives to come. It is the real you. The real you is the higher self, oversoul, or overself. However, once your soul has decided to come into Earth School, your Earth School mind develops. You, as the individual mind, have your own distinct identity along with your soul that are together part of the higher self. You continue to live your individual life and grow in love, wisdom, and compassion as you enjoy the next periods of your next stage of life.